Welcome back to Therapy Thursday. Today I want to talk about meniscus rehabilitation. For the last 5 to 10 years, there's been increasing awareness around the notion that arthroscopic debridement procedures for a meniscal tear, especially in those over the age of 40, do not provide a clinically important and meaningful outcome relative to placebo. And this was confirmed by a 2022 Cochrane review that increased the weight of evidence and started to disseminate this message, which now is fairly common knowledge. Most people will know if they have a meniscus tear that's been identified on an MRI and they're over the age of 40 or a little bit older, that surgery is not the first line of care. Exercise rehabilitation has to be the first line of care in this population. There's lots of good videos and lots of not so good videos you can find out there. I wanted to discuss 3 keys to success and 3 mistakes that we commonly see and hear about when it comes to exercise-based rehab for meniscal tears. So, first mistake we commonly see is a focus on forcing range of motion. Yes, we want to restore range of motion, but if you force knee flexion range of motion too early and make that a key to success, it will often be a very rocky road to recovery. So yes, we want to work on range of motion. Yes, we want to do controlled articular rotations, circles of the knee, but we are not forcing it through pain. If you are having trouble making gains in your range of motion, that's when you need a skilled manual therapist on your team to help you get through that block. So don't force range of motion, especially flexion. The second big mistake I often see is a focus on single leg exercises or balance exercises. If you focus too much on single leg exercises, the stress concentration in the cartilage from instantaneous and momentary forces will often irritate the joint line. Balance is important. We have to improve balance, but it's often a later stage when we've gained confidence in our knee that we want to go down that pathway. And the third big mistake we often see is chasing peak strength. This notion of if I get my knee stronger, it will feel better. The research doesn't bear out a strong association between peak strength and pain relief when it comes to meniscus tears. So peak strength is not our focus. Certainly strength as it pertains to a good ratio of muscle effort to joint stress is important. And that is our first takeaway for keys to success, is finding exercises that give good effort to major muscle groups surrounding the knee with little to no peak force or high rate of force through the knee joint. So exercises like hip thrusters, not in a weight-bearing position, great hip hinge exercise, working on a glute drive. You can load that up if you want, very low load to the knee joint. We've talked and wrote and done videos on terminal knee extensions. We've got a band anchored to a post. The drive of knee extension and the effort to the quad here is high, and the load to the knee joint is low. Sideline hip exercises like our 7-way hip series, all sorts of isometric exercises, things like holding a sissy squat with your heels elevated can be a nice effort to load ratio. Doing a heel hover front foot elevated hold can be a nice effort to the foot and ankle complex, and as time goes on, you may be able to load that a little bit as well. Isometric exercises are a huge key to success for this population. You have to sometimes get creative. So the first key to success is good muscle effort to joint load ratio. The second key to success is do not ignore the foot and the hip, the ankle and the hip. Mobility and function of the ankle and the hip are critical. A mentor of mine once told me that the knee is just a slave to the ankle and the hip, and I totally believe that. 15 plus years into clinical practice, if you ignore functional deficits, mobility deficits in the ankle and the hip, you are really missing an opportunity to take your rehabilitation to the next level. So that's the second key to success, foot and ankle. And the third is really simple, general cardiovascular fitness. Find an implement that you can use regularly that feels good. A bike, swimming, maybe a rower, maybe it's the treadmill, maybe it's running. For most people it's not, but maybe running feels good to you. You need a regular cardiovascular effort, and you need that exertion to help support your rehab process. So there's the 3 keys to success and the 3 common mistakes we see with meniscal rehabilitation. See you next time on Therapy Thursday.